Help me out, my long lost friend. Tell me all that could have been. And if I start to lose myself, a secret I could never tell.
See how we go with this, huh? Hi friends, and happy Sunday. I know that I didn't post last weekend, which is because this weekend, which is actually your last weekend, I am away with some friends on a trip. We went down south and we went to this beautiful little coastal town, and we've really been loving just having some quality time together. So I thought I would tell you a little bit of a story time about why this trip is something of an answered prayer for me and is really, really exciting. Sorry if you can hear my morning voice actually before we start, because everyone else is asleep right now and I got up nice and early to film this story, but yeah, if my voice is a bit husky, it's because I woke up about 15 minutes ago. So if you don't know what my story has looked like over the past few years, about 2 years ago I moved to Perth from Sydney, and that was a really, really hard decision to make. We definitely felt like God was calling us to Perth. We came here over the summertime prior because Justin's family is all over here, and both of us in our prayer felt like God was creating an interest in us about what the possibility of Perth could look like. But practically there wasn't anything leading us there, so we were like, look, maybe it's personal desire, maybe it's not of God, we'll just leave it for now and see how it goes. And then the day before our wedding, we were told that Justin's work, which he was working at full time, was moving to Perth. And so we had those things in our prayer life that were like giving us interest in the possibility of Perth, and then we had an opportunity, and we felt like those two things hand in hand alongside some very serious discernment prayer were encouraging us to move forward. So we moved to Perth. That is a long-winded way of saying that. And it was really hard, particularly for me, because I didn't really know. I knew one person in Perth and I didn't really know anyone else. So I was leaving an incredibly tight-knit group of friends who, funnily enough, we would go on summer holidays together every single year. And I was in this amazing job where I was worship leading every single day, or pretty much, and it was a community just drenched in prayer and like drenched in life and fully immersing me into what I felt God was calling me to as my career. And so I really loved my job, and I loved the kids that we worked with. I loved them so much. And my job was very niche. Like, there aren't very many Catholic youth ministry, worship leading in schools, running big conferences. There's just not much of that in Australia. So yeah, that was really hard to leave as well, because I knew it was a very niche market and that there probably wouldn't be a role like that for me in Perth, and that I would have to change directions. As well as the fact that I was very, very close with my team. I really loved the town I lived in as well. Anyway, I'm going on and on about it, but there was a lot for me to leave behind. The hardest thing for me was that I was close with my team, and that I did have that close-knit group of friends, and that I finally felt really established in my friendships as a young adult. And I was leaving all of that, not just like a couple of hours, but like literally the opposite side of the country. And so for the first year, that was probably really hard when I first arrived in Perth, just not being around people. There were two things that I desired. I really desired for friendship, But I also didn't desire to make any new friendships because I was still grieving the distance that was established now in my relationships that were current. So it was really challenging for me to make friends. But I knew that if I was going to be happy in Perth, because at that stage I wasn't, and I was really concerned I'd made the wrong decision, that I needed some people, because God built us for friendship and for community, and I don't think it's a mistake that we all long for someone to connect with us and someone to offer our love to and to have love in return. I don't think that's just for relationship in marriage. I feel like that is something innate that calls us into community. And so my desire for that, I knew it was a healthy desire, I knew it was a natural desire, and I knew that my heart wouldn't be healthy unless I fulfilled that desire, or unless God fulfilled that desire. So I started praying really regularly that, God, would you just give me a friend? Please, Lord, just give me a friend. And I did have one friend in Perth, but I wanted more than that. So I was like, God, just give me some friends. God, just give me some friends. That was my constant prayer. Obviously, it wasn't the only thing I was saying to him, but it was just like this need that I knew that I needed to put in his hands, because making friends as an adult is really hard, especially when you're in a new place and you don't really know what to immerse yourself in order to find friends. And when you're married as well, because I think there's this natural inclination to want to stay home and just spend time with that person, and I'm naturally very shy, so for me to go out and meet new people without him as my safety net would be very nerve-wracking for me. And also, I don't know, you just want to make sure that it all gels together. So I was doing this prayer, and my one friend in Perth, she was like, come to this women's weekend with my church community. It's going to be really good, because I was actually really feeling quite defeated, and I was in a very desolate season, just feeling really far away from God, and like there was so much stripped away from me that I was realizing I had dependence on things that weren't him, and it was pulling me away from him because I felt like I was grasping at straws a little bit. Anyway, so she said, come to this women's weekend, and I said, great, I will think about it. And when I went home, I really felt just like convicted that maybe I should ask about it again, because I just kind of brushed it off the first time. So I was like, could I have the details for it? And so that night I applied to go, and I paid the fee, and I prepared myself to go away for a weekend with a big group of women, and I only knew one person. Actually, I did know one other person. So I went, and within the first night I met 3 other girls, and we all just like made each other laugh. We stayed up really late, and I started to remember what that felt like, to have those deep friendships and those connected friendships where you've been friends for a long time. Funnily enough, I didn't consider it an answered prayer at the time. I was just like, oh, these guys are nice, because once the weekend came to an end, I was like, okay, it's over. And so as we were leaving, I was like, oh, it almost feels like something's being offered before me and then like taken away, you know? So I was like, oh, disappointing, but at least I got a taste of friendship again. That's good. And then the day after the weekend that we'd been away, or that week or something, they added me to a group chat and we started going out for girls' dinners semi-regularly, like every couple of weeks we'd go out for dinner together. And it was within those few dinners where we started to really connect and get on, and I felt like I was really part of the group as well, and like I was really welcome, that I was thinking, wow, God really answered my prayer. And I think there are very few and far moments in my life where I'm like very clearly and concisely recognizing providence from God, which is on me. That's one of the things I need to work on, to be honest, is just being grateful and recognizing the moments that I've asked God for help or comfort or whatever, friendship. And he has answered that prayer. And I was looking back at my prayer journal the other day, and I was thinking, wow, there are so many prayers from 2 years ago where I was completely overwhelmed and grieving, and I felt so alone and so helpless because I was like, how do I even fix these things? And I think I was thinking about it in my own strength, and I was telling God, like, how can I fix this in my own strength? And this was his way of telling me, you don't have to. So flash forward to now, I am here. We just had a weekend away together, all of us. And it's not just girls, it's like these girls and a husband, or these girls and a brother, which is great for Justin as well, because he has friends. God provided way more than I needed. It's like the feeding of the 5,000, right? Where they have leftovers afterwards with what little they had in the beginning. So he just provided way more than I thought I could ever dream of or ask for. And I felt like we've really established ourselves as a group now, which is really nice, and everyone feels the same way about like maintaining these friendships, which is so beautiful. And but yeah, I always tell the story, well, I've told the story over the past few weeks a few times to the kids at school that I work with, because I think oftentimes they think God is like either like an ATM where you put in a prayer and you get an answer right away, which it took me a year and a half to meet these girls, and now it's 2 years. So God takes time to answer your prayers sometimes, because it builds strength and fortitude in you, but also that he will provide, not what you necessarily think of in the moment, but what is best for you, and also that he will be abundant in your life, and that whatever you need, he will give you more than that when it's due time for harvest. And I'm so glad that it's time for harvest for me at the moment. And so I guess I wanted to tell you that story because I wanted to encourage you that if there's something on your heart that you feel like is missing, or there's something that you're struggling with, my encouragement would be that you take it to the Lord and that you offer it to him with an open hand, because I held mine with a closed fist, and he had to really pry my fingers away from it one by one. But you give it to him with an open hand and you just let him do what he will with it. It'll be far less painful of a process, because you know that whatever's coming to you is A, in God's will, because it's literally him deciding for you and him preparing the way for you, and also B, that you'll just be amazed by what he does. So thanks for listening to my story. I have a little montage of clips that I took. I did not do any talking because I'm too embarrassed to talk on a video in front of my friends, A, and B, because, I don't know, I think there's something very different about taking clips and allowing people to still be really present and comfortable, and for me to be very present with people as well, and to just enjoy people's company rather than thinking too hard about creating something. So I'm not really sure how artistic what you're about to see is, but I hope you like it a lot, and I hope you've had an amazing 2 weeks. You'll be getting a lot more content that's really exciting in the next few weeks, because I am visiting home for the first time in 2 years. Restrictions on our border have finally lifted, and since the beginning of the pandemic, and we are able to go back and visit my family and my friends and go to my hometown, go to my childhood best friend's wedding. So there's a lot of really exciting stuff coming up, and I'm hoping I can document it, mainly so that I can rewatch it over and over again when I do feel homesick later on. But yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy my little montage, and I pray that God blesses you and that you would feel comfort in offering him your needs this week. So I love you so much, and I will see you soon.
Oh, meet me down by the coast. I'll be waiting there for you until the ocean tides rise and swallow the sky. I'll be waiting there for you.
We love chippy. All kinds of.
If I get lost among the trees, could they keep me company? When the morning light grows dim, come the night I'll find you then.
Before I put these away.
Oh, meet me down by the coast. I'll be waiting there for you until the ocean tide.